Estamos no prédio da UC. Oi, oi. E aí? Como tá as coisas?
They said they'll call for us once they've gotten to properly review it. But listen, I know I should have been more forthcoming about who I was earlier. So, in the interest of full disclosure, there's one more thing you ought to know before we head out. My
Mas?
relationship with the UC. It's more complicated than it might seem at first glance. The UC's actually the only reason I'm here in the first place. I am a clone of a man named Francois Sanon, one-time fleet admiral of the UC during the Colony War, former head of the UC Navy. They called him Ve Victus, woe to the defeated, in Old Earth Latin, a title he earned. The program I was a part of, it was the UC's attempt to create a new generation of military minds from one of their most respected tacticians. Secure the leadership of the UC military for generations to come.
Me faltou até o ar pra falar agora. Tem mais nada não pra você falar? Tipo, alguma outra surpresa?
A non-trivial amount of gene editing. Clone, honestly, isn't even really the right term for our relationship, thanks to the amount of donor material that was required to bring me into this world. He and I are different on more than a few levels, but there's no denying the fact we're inextricably linked. I'm the last. A few of my siblings, they passed when we were young. Training accidents and the like. But most of the rest were deployed to the front lines during the Colony War, and they never came back. Not a day goes by where I don't think about what the world would look like with them still in it. He would have happily told you he was one of the greats. Ultimately, though, it didn't matter. The man I was cloned from, my father, was executed for acts he committed during the war. The man caused a lot of death on both sides. Freestar Collective and UC. Military and civilians.
Eita.
And the things he did, well, they're a part of the reason the UC and Freestar Collective aren't really on great terms to this day. So my involvement, it could be another obstacle they throw at us up there. I just wanted you to be forewarned.
Isso porque eu falei se não tinha mais alguma coisa. Mais alguma coisa pra você falar? Olá, rapaziada, como é que vocês estão? Espero que sejam bem. Vamos aí a mais um episódio de Starfield. E nesse episódio, nós vamos precisar convencer o gabinete da União das Colônias. Porque apenas com a autorização deles a gente vai começar a conversar tanto com a embaixada da Freestar quanto com a embaixada da Casa Varium para a gente conseguir acesso a uns dados das pesquisas dos Terrormorfos que foram trancados e deixados como secretos, sigilosos, proibidos dentro de arquivos, os arquivos. E a gente vai precisar de toda a autorização das três a convencer todo mundo para conseguir isso, exatamente para tentar ver o que está acontecendo, se a gente consegue uma explicação desses ataques dos Terrormorphos e uma maneira de impedir. Mas antes de mais nada, vamos ao nosso pequeno ritual padrão. Pegam aí o petisco, chama os amigos e bora se divertir, mas deixa que ele já encacar esse coração. Se não for inscrito, já aproveita e se inscreve. Bora lá.
His men opened fire on civilian ships during the Battle of Cheyenne. A battle that he ultimately ended up losing anyway, devastating the UC fleet and bringing the Colony War to an ugly end for the UC. But he's also the one who ordered the bombing of the Londinian spaceport during their outbreak, condemning countless lives. Both sides agreed the settled systems would be better without him.
Por que eu fui perguntar? Eu pensei que a minha família fosse zoada.
My areas of expertise are pretty specific, but messed up families are up there. You know, while we've got a second, was there anything else we needed to discuss? I know you got dropped into the middle of this pretty fast. Or if you've got any last-minute business to attend to, now might be a good time. No telling how long the cabinet's gonna keep us waiting out here. That's actually a souvenir from my time on Mars. The Red Devils unit I was a part of, they were founded by recruits who'd worked some of Mars' deepest mines. Folks used to adversity. The dust at those depths, it seeps into everything. The human eye included. Where the name Red Devils came from in the first place. It became an unwritten rite of passage that anyone wanting to enlist with the Devils had to do a stint in the mines before they could join up. The Devils were always talked about in such revered tones during my training, so as soon as I was old enough, I signed up. And the eyes were my parting gift. I mean, we never spent a lot of time together. He was too busy being fleet admiral to deal with kids. I was raised by a pair of guardians instead. Until his defeat during the colony war, though, he was known as an extremely effective commander. Savvy, perceptive. That mind opened a lot of doors for him. And for me too. But Ve Victus, for all his ability, was heartless. Ruthless to a fault. In the end, that's what cost him his life. It's hard to know exactly what might sway them. I'd just be honest about what you saw. A colony wiped out, and a lot of lives lost. Something we don't want anyone else to have to experience. Eye strain from the amount of reading I've got on the horizon if we succeed. The Terrormorph project never went anywhere. It couldn't. They're deadly creatures, but they aren't xenoweapons. The cabinet not opening the archives is probably a bigger risk than them handing over the files. That data itself isn't dangerous, which probably wouldn't be a bad point for us to bring up, should the opportunity arise. Then I guess it's just a matter of...
The cabinet meeting is about to begin. All parties, please proceed to the cabinet chambers.
Bingo.
Here we go.
Não. Sério, modo foto. Modo foto vira e. Tem como. Fala, pelo amor. Para de me usar. Não tem como. Eu preciso. Se só o. Como fala? Se só os NPCs também fossem legais, né? Que nem.
Welcome. You must be the captain Hadrian mentioned in her report. You have our thanks for the risks you faced in securing this information.
Nossa, agradecimento do enche o tanque da nave. Com máxima urgência.
Oh, I'm sure she did.
Yes, well, precisely how urgent is what I hope we'll determine here today. So now, we have two petitioners here making a surprising request. Access to the UC Xeno Warfare Team's Terrormorph data, currently housed in the Armistice archives. A request which will require not just this body's agreement, but that of all three Armistice signatories. UC, Freestar Collective, and House Varun. Now, Captain, we've all read Hadrian's report on the subject, but we have yet to hear from you. Perhaps you could summarize for the cabinet what it is you see as the goal of this endeavor.
Nós ainda estamos tentando entender o que vamos enfrentar. Não podemos tomar uma decisão informada sem dados. Precisamos dos dados arquivados para achar um jeito de impedir que um apocalipse terrormórfico.
That's quite the leap, Captain. Madam President, I object to the very premise of this meeting. While no one would argue that what happened on Tau Ceti was anything less than a tragedy, Terrormorph attacks are not some sudden new threat on the horizon. They've been happening for generations. To demand we hand over banned archival knowledge and possibly upset the balance of galactic diplomacy because of a single attack seems at best panic. And at worst, a power grab by the daughter of a bloodthirsty warmonger and her associates.
Sabia.
I would remind the chief diplomat who he's speaking to. If it's my father you're looking to address, you're welcome to consult immediately. I would also ask how many deaths the cabinet requires to act. 50? 50,000? Because if tragedies like Tau Ceti are just prelude to more attacks, I have no doubt you'll get the body count you require.
Let's keep this civil, shall we? And while there should be no doubt the preservation of life stands paramount among this body's duties, Chief Essene has a point. Will a single attack, however troubling, be sufficient to convince the other factions to grant us access to what they no doubt consider weapon data? I don't think it's enough. Perhaps you can help, Captain. As the one who actually collected the sample in question, did this Terrormorph seem at all alarming to you?
Ele aniquilou uma colônia que nunca teria previsto sua chegada.
That is worth considering. This attack took place on an almost completely uninhabited world. The casualties were minimal as a result. But if there's another attack, will we be so lucky?
Mais sensato.
Yes, a fine point, Admiral. So then, Captain, given the discussion now and the information you've been privy to thus far, if you were in our position, would you grant the request made to open the archives?
Existe uma chance do que houve em Tau Ceti acontecer em outro lugar. É preciso atender essa situação. Pessoalmente eu esperaria, não tem informação suficiente.
I'm inclined to agree.
As am I.
Dois concordam.
I suppose that does get to the heart of the point, doesn't it? Very well.
O chato concorda.
The galaxy was lucky you were here today, Captain.
You and I are in agreement.
Depois de tomar uma voadora, né?
So, if there are no other objections, I believe we can agree to give our full backing to make the request to... What was that?
Attention. An incident has occurred. Facility lockdown engaged.
Eita preula.
Incident. Chief Sarkin, what's happening?
There's been an attack at the spaceport. Terrormorphs.
Terrormorphs. More attacks. Just as predicted.
Como?
Good God. Well, there must be another explanation. The creatures evaded our scanner somehow.
There will be plenty of time for conjecture later. Chief Sarkin, order the evacuation of the spaceport and have your men contain the things, but do it discreetly.
Discretamente. Discretamente você tá no aeroporto, já tá na cidade, minha filha.
The local barracks can provide support.
I'll make the order myself. Nearest anti-Xeno squad, though, is off-world. Going to take a while to bring them in.
Well then, We'll have to make do with the tools we've got. You two, we can't risk those things getting out of the spaceport. I want you both on the next train there. We'll let them know you're coming and that you've dealt with these things before. Now go show them how it's done.
We're on it, ma'am. Captain, I'm right behind you. Let's get down there.
Só vamos. E olha que eles concordaram. Se eles não tivessem concordado, tava tudo com a cara no chão agora. What the fuck is this? Como assim? Equipe a arma. Oi?
Thank you for what you did. We didn't want to hurt them.
Ah, entendi agora.
I've seen this before. They were under the Terrormorph's influence, weren't they?
I don't know. They were down at the port and they just started screaming. We tried to restrain them, get them on the train to get them out of harm's way, but some of the other officers down there, we couldn't restrain them fast enough. They just started firing on us. People we knew. They went berserk.
Pheromonic projection. Some Terrormorphs, they can induce this fog. It affects everyone differently, but some people just lose control, turn against everyone around them, even if they don't want to. They're like a puppet.
Caraca.
You kill the morph, you break the hold. But this means we're gonna need to be real careful with our fire, and keep that EM weapon at the ready. I honestly was just wondering the same thing. But no, you don't need to worry about me. I've had a Terrormorph try it on me before. I'm not susceptible. So we'll just have to make sure to watch out for each other down there.
Que bom.
Let's do it.
Nat's unlocked. Please, do what you can to help them.
Ok. Caramba, o bicho já é forte pra caramba, rápido, letal. E ainda controla a mente. Vai se ferrar. Quem foi que inventou isso? Caramba, que névoa chata. Que névoa chata.
Which one is going to kill you?
Surrounded. All around. No way out.
Pronto.
Experts? We've got the remaining creatures locked down on the landing pad, barely holding our perimeter. They said you've done this before. Well, one fire team to spare and whatever supplies you need, but I can't risk them taking over any more of my men. Put those things down and do it fast. We hold them as best we can.
Thank heavens those Marines were here. Not sure we would have held. You see the size of it, Nick? Heard you might be looking for some backup. You say the word, we're out there on your 6.
You two have any experience with Terrormorphs before?
Only the brief they just gave on the way here. But we know how to handle pressure.
Surviving a full-on mental assault isn't the same as keeping your cool in a firefight.
Mm-hmm.
Might make you more liability than asset.
We're not UC security. You don't need to worry about us.
Tá bom.
Roger that. We're on you.
I hate false alarms. Gotta stay sharp.
Deixa eu só pegar aqui. Pronto. Um pouquinho de resistência a dano.
It's got me! Where are you?
Droga. Vai, 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 vai. Aí. Cadê, cadê, cadê? Aliás, só para a gente ter uma noção. Filho da mãe. Caraca.
All wrapped up. We should go tell the sergeant what happened.
É porque eu ainda tô meio zoada. Não dá pra correr muito não.
Thank the heavens you're back in one piece. I guess our people weren't so lucky.
Uhum.
The few protecting the many.
And it would have been plenty more if it hadn't been for the two of you. The city owes you both a debt after this.
We were just in the right place at the right time. Captain, we should report back to the President. Let her know the Terrormorphs have been dealt with. Take care of yourself, Sergeant.
Então vamos lá. Agora já tá normal já, então a gente já pode já correr. Vamos, jogo, vamos.
Terrormorph.
That's a relief to hear. Hey, Captain? Hadrian? It would appear that the cabinet owes you our thanks for what you did for the city today. As well as an apology. Your concerns about the Terrormorphs, well, consider them validated.
Thank you, ma'am.
Concordo. Agradeço por isso.
I only wish we could have acted sooner. Now, today's events have only clarified our path forward in the eyes of the cabinet. You will have our full support in collecting the Terrormorph data from the archives, as well as a subsequent investigation into the nature of these attacks. But to accomplish those goals, we're going to need the right people in the right places. As such, the cabinet has authorized me to reinstate you, Hadrian, effective immediately, to your former rank of major. As soon as we've got the data in hand, we want you investigating these attacks and how to stop them. Will you do this?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. I'd be honored.
Excellent. But as you've both made clear, for such an investigation to succeed first, we're going to need someone to convince the Freestar Collective and House Varun to play ball. Someone who knows precisely the sorts of dangers the colonies and all the galaxy are facing right now. The cabinet wants you, Captain, to be that representative.
Você tem certeza que essa é a melhor estratégia?
We do. In exchange, we're willing to fast-track your citizenship upon collection of the data. So, will you help us?
Pode contar.
I'm glad to hear it. Now, we, of course, won't be sending you in without the proper support. Deputy McIntyre in the Office of Interstellar Affairs will be your guide on gaining access to the archives. You should be able to find her in her office across the hall. And on behalf of the whole of the United Colonies, you have our thanks. We're dismissed.
É, testemunha ocular, testemunha de corpo inteiro, que olha... Negócio foi tenso. Mas é muito bom a gente conseguir acelerar a cidadania aqui, porque aí eu consigo, como fala? Consigo comprar uma casinha. É porque vai ser legal a gente ter a nossa própria casa aqui. Eu acho. Vai ser legal? Então, minha querida, pra gente...
My Vanguard Captain. Welcome to Interstellar Affairs. I'm Deputy Chief Diplomat McIntyre, Chief Yassine's second in command. I heard you were instrumental in protecting the city from the attack. You have my gratitude. I was also informed that you gave quite the presentation to the cabinet. Chief Yassine wants you to know the Interstellar Affairs Office is fully committed to this endeavor, accessing the Terrormorph data and beyond. We're going to do everything in our power to make sure you have the tools you need. And that means first getting you into the archives. You do know what the archives are, correct? Last I checked, it takes 2 parties to fight a war. But, since you're such an expert, I'm sure you also know it's supposed to be managed by the 3 major galactic players. Access to the archives is only granted in cases of dire emergency, and requires a one-time use code from each of the 3 armistice signatories. UC, Freestar Collective, and House Faroon. Now, the UC is already on board, so that means we'll need to convince 2 people. The ambassadors of the Freestar Collective and House Faroon to hand over their codes. Get them both and you'll have your data. But that's a lot easier said than done. No. Each is a strip of several million random numbers generated on the fly based on biometric keys kept by each of the ambassadors on their person at all times. They're impossible to create without those keys, and those keys stay with the ambassadors, meaning we're accessing nothing if we can't get them on our side.
Caraca, bem protegido.
I couldn't agree more. However, both ambassadors have reasons they won't, or can't, work with us. Now, I'll provide guidance on how we believe you can acquire each code, but ultimately, it'll be up to you to get them both to cooperate. And I do mean cooperate. Threats and violence are off the table here. No, that doesn't mean we can't get creative. But it does mean we need to get you up to speed on who you're dealing with. Who do you want to start with? Ambassador Radcliffe of Freestar, or Ambassador Balmore of House Faroon?
Me fale sobre a Freestar, primeiro.
The good Ambassador Radcliffe. She's a veteran of the Colony War, and her only goal in life is to make ours miserable.
Que legal.
Now, officially, our office is suggesting you try and negotiate with her. Use your experiences as a member of the military and with the threat we're facing to convince her to lend her support. And who knows? Maybe that'll work. Stranger things have happened. But my suspicion is we're going to have to rely on other tools to get her code.
Que meios?
See, good diplomacy is all about the careful application of pressure. We just need to find the squeeze. UC Intelligence has a recording device planted in the ambassador's living quarters, which we suspect you can use to your advantage. But getting caught trespassing is a quick way to land yourself in an embassy holding cell. So, if you are going to try and access the device, you're going to need to find a way in there without being seen. Now, we recovered some intel we believe should be able to help with that. But there's also a disgruntled staff member you might be able to pump for information. Maybe even convinced to work with you.
Que pode me dizer?
Name's Cameron Long. He's younger than Ratcliffe, bears less of a grudge towards the UC. He works closely with the ambassador, making him a promising source for information on the ins and outs of embassy life, and someone who very likely hates her guts. Yes, many. Don't steal anything. Don't get caught anywhere you're not supposed to. Absolutely do not harm anyone. If something goes wrong, we'll do our best to smooth things over, but I can't make any promises. All right. Here, your diplomatic ID. I'll give them a heads up, you're on your way. Not likely to let you through the door otherwise. And
Que bom.
this. Chief Yassine wanted you to have some options on
É,
how to
que
proceed
bom.
in there.
10.000 de crédito? Me fala agora sobre Casa Varron.
Ambassador Balmore's a challenge. When the
Que
rest of
legal.
House Varun retreated into seclusion shortly after the signing of the armistice, Balmore stayed here. He's since lent his support to a small number of archival requests, so there's real hope he might again. Though claiming to know how a member of House Varun thinks is a quick way to earn yourself a psych eval.
Por quê? Qual que é o problema?
These days, they're primarily considered a security threat. House Varun zealots, a fundamentalist outshoot of the group that stayed behind when the rest retreated into seclusion, want nothing more than to send everyone not dedicated to their cause to the great serpent in the sky. But that hasn't always been the case. After they ended the Serpent's Crusade about 70 years back, House Varun did take a real run at trying to normalize relations with the rest of the galaxy. It's why they have an embassy here in the first place, why they were included in the armistice negotiations. But then, without warning, they left, leaving behind, to our knowledge, just the ambassador and his duty under the armistice. It does, but there's a concern.
Sempre tem.
We're not 100% sure Balmore's actually still alive. His
Ah.
public appearances were always rare, but it's been several years now since he last poked his head out. Scans of the facility show life signs, but not the kind we were expecting. Your task is to find him and kindly but firmly remind him of his duties under the armistice.
Se ele estiver morto.
Search the embassy for his biometric key, collect your code piece, and we'll go about notifying his next of kin, if we can ever find them. But let's hope it doesn't come to that.
Ninguém nunca
The
entrou lá.
embassy is still legally House Varun's sovereign territory, so we're not technically permitted inside. We've snuck in the occasional spy, of course, but the ambassador has proven more evasive than you'd expect for a man of his age. But we're quite
É, o
sure
velho
he
dá pro
hasn't
gasto.
The man stands out.
Que tipo de cenas de vida?
The Varun delegation brought more than a few of their native flora with them when they set up in the embassy. It seems those plants have been allowed to flourish, making it hard for us to verify what's flora and what's ambassador.
Ou a flora cresceu tanto que agora o embaixador tá dentro da flora.
I have no doubt. Now, the embassy front door isn't an option, but our spies have stated there's a side entrance that should allow you access. Here, this device should get you all the way down to the embassy interior. Once you're inside, though, finding the ambassador is going to be up to you. And fair warning, we received a report that alarms might have been tripped inside the embassy during the attacks. Watch out for automated security in there. Now, if you have additional questions or require clearance for a new approach we haven't already discussed, don't hesitate to ask. I'd suggest you start with Ambassador Radcliffe. Approach her while the attack is still fresh in her and her staff's mind. Be smart out there, Captain.
Obtenha o código dos arquivos da Confederação e da Casa Varron. Ou seja, nós vamos ter que tentar convencer uma louca e uma coisa que a gente não sabe se tá viva ou não. Então vamos só dar uma repassada nas coisas. Obtenha o código dos arquivos da Confederação. É aqui no distrito. É aqui em Nova Atlanta. Você está com sobrecarga no parque. Como é que eu tô com sobrecarga? Ninguém viu. Ninguém viu, ninguém viu, ninguém viu, ninguém viu. Por que eu tô com sobrecarga? Embaixada Freestar Collective. Nós vamos tentar fazer alguma coisa muito louca. Na verdade, andando. Licença. Licença. Nossa, eu amo como eles colocam uns requintes de... Ok. Eles têm uns um requinte assim de Velho Oeste mesmo. Andando na embaixada aqui deste lugar. Pô, é bonito esse lugar. Sério? Cafezinho. Como eu amo. Pô, parede chique, viu?
Just wish I hadn't received the news from an SSNN broadcast. We have a strategic advantage to maintain, Mr. Long.
Of course, ma'am. I'll make sure it doesn't happen again.
Excuse me. Are you supposed to be in here?
Sim. Eu acho que sim, né? Bem, eu aumentei um pouquinho o volume. Tá muito baixo. Vamos lá, vamos conversar agora. Pioneirismo e Freestyle. Estou aqui para falar no nome das Uniões das Colônias. Sou parte da Confederação tanto quanto você.
Ah, so you're the one they called about. Failed to mention you were collective-born. You have my thanks for what you did down there, truly. Saved many lives. Now, she also mentioned that, and maybe it was just a bad connection, that now the UC wants Terrormorph data from the Armistice archives, some of the most highly guarded information in the galaxy, in order to protect us all. I can only presume you're here to tell me I misheard her and that they didn't send you, local hero, to futilely beg on their behalf. Tell me I've got that right.
A gente precisa.
I was afraid of that. Let me be frank, Captain. The answer is no. That information is there because it is dangerous. I will not
Deixar as coisas como tá, pior ainda.
Now, why don't you quit wasting my time and yours and go? You're really gonna push this? All right, I will give you one chance, one, to convince me. Understood.
Uhum.
I'm listening. In the end, we all just want to be safe in our little fiefdoms, don't we?
O projeto foi um fracasso. Essa pesquisa não é perigosa.
You know that for sure. That is interesting.
Você já foi soldado. Você teve o dever de proteger. Nosso objetivo é justamente proteger esses dados.
I suppose you're right. Our job and our responsibility.
Vai lá, só falta mais um. Quantas vidas você tá disposto a arriscar só pelo rancor pessoal que tem com a UC? Vai.
It's possible I might be letting my history cloud my judgment. Possibly. Well, Captain, you make some good points. But if I'm really granting you access, I'm gonna need the following concessions. Your access will be limited. You can only take out the items related to stopping these terrormorphs. The monitors will make sure of it. You go in once, you get everything you need on your trip, and never again. And all research done with the data will be monitored. If this data is being used to save the galaxy needs to be involved in the oversight. Freestar scientists will watch your people like hawks. So, do we have an agreement?
Temos.
Excellent. Follow me.
É o que a gente precisa, minha filha. Vai lá, levanta. Não faz que nem outro preguiçoso, não.
Sounds like it was a real mess down at the spaceport.
Pô, mas eu acho que eu só consegui porque eu tinha a fala de pioneirismo Free Stars. Porque, olha... Porque o meu personagem, ele... Eu coloquei ele como se ele tivesse nascido na Confederação Free Star.
Tell me it should only take a moment. And there. Here, I'll reach out to Deputy McIntyre. We'll coordinate the necessary oversights. Two unlikely allies, I guess. Code generators just this way.
Belezinha? Belezinha. Licença, licença. Agora a gente precisa ir pra Casa Varum. É assim que eu gosto. Persuadindo demais. A língua de prata precisa ser usada. Não botei esse meu personagem à toa. Yupi! É sério que ninguém... Esse negócio fica exatamente no meio da cidade. E é sério que ninguém nunca entrou aqui pra dar uma olhada como que tá as coisas. Mano, olha isso. Ah, o grande ofídio. Não sabe nem se essas coisas estão vivas ou não. Bem, se o cara morrer vai ser... Quer dizer, se o cara morreu vai ser fácil. Porque é só pegar do corpo dele e, tipo... Dane-se, entendeu? Mas se ele... Caraca. Nossa. Siga a voz, restaure a energia, mais cuidado. Defesas. Licença. Peguei mesmo. Não tem ninguém aqui pra me olhar, não. Vou tomar cuidado com possíveis defesas. Pô, a gente podia pegar esse traje aqui, né? Eita, que é um gás muito louco. Gás louco. Pô, os caras botam uns alucinógenos aqui. Sistema local, dane-se. Pegar mais cartucho. Eu nem uso, acho que direito essas partículas, mas eu tô pegando mesmo assim. Ai. Que bom que você me esperou. Não dá pra vir por aqui? Tem que vir por aqui. Caraca, mó doideira esse lugar. Cadê? Inacessível, ok. Hum. Pronto. Desativar torretas. Ai. Tem que chegar lá em cima. Tá. Como? Aqui ainda tá inacessível. Beleza. Tem que voltar. Ué, mas eu desativei as torretas. Não. Pode ser. E a gente pega... Não. Merda. Eu não... Esse com 2 dá? Esse com 2 dá. Porque esse daqui dá. Aí a gente pega... Dá pra pegar esses 3. Mas a gente precisaria de um com 3 inteiros. Dá pra gente vir com esses daqui. E aí esse daqui tem que encaixar. E esse daqui também tem que encaixar. Pronto. Arrombamos 15 cadeados. Opa! Ui, caçamba. Eita, preula. Não, aqui é de onde... Mais ou menos de onde eu vim? É mais ou menos de onde eu vim. Onde é que eu tenho que ir? Descer? Opa, tem munição aqui. Acho que eu já vim pra cá já. Ah, será que a porta... Agora a porta tá acessível. Esse lugar tá muito, como fala. Muito detonado. Eu sei, eu tô com sobrecarga. Agora é roubo, né? Porque ele tá aqui.
Not the ideal introduction, I suppose, giving you a grand tour of the embassy via barely functioning intercoms. I do greatly appreciate your persistence. I suspect the Venom tree upstairs has worked itself into more systems than I'd realized. But then again, who could cage such a beauty? Tell me though, what is it like outside? I heard the broadcast mentioning an attack. Then the embassy was struck with a power surge and then... silence. Has the rest of the city suffered quite so badly?
Uhum. O nome daquela coisa lançando no árvore peçonhenta, ela não é venenosa, não?
You have my word, but hard to navigate. Hence why I was guiding you through the intercoms to restore the environmental controls. And release me. It is the sap of the tree that gives it its... well, perhaps not a topic for this exact moment. But I must know of the rest of the city. Does it still stand?
O que aconteceu aqui?
I take it you didn't have such an experience where you were then, Yes, the entire embassy was thrown into lockdown, trapping me in my quarters, disabling the Venom tree's filters, and arming the defenses. A disconcerting experience, to say the least. Was the rest of the city spared? Is that right, I shall need to have these repairs seen to sooner rather than later. Now, it cannot solely be the Serpent's grace that brought you here at such an opportune moment. You were sent by the UC. That much is obvious. Who else could just waltz through my door, And the broadcast spoke of Terrormorphs at the spaceport. A worrying occurrence, certainly, but coming here of all places, when all I could provide is some enthused cheerleading and...
Na verdade, você pode providenciar pouquinho mais, né?
An archive.
Isso mesmo.
So the UC requires information then. On Terrormorphs, presumably. Do I see this all clearly? The preservation of life stands as the very purpose of the archives. Using its data to prevent more attacks, there is logic there. But if I am to grant you access, I have a requirement. For years, House Varun has been known only as an agent of slaughter. We founded this embassy with hopes of shedding that legacy. With little success. In exchange for my code, I require this. You must be the one who ensures it is used for good. Ensure House Varun's legacy is more than just carnage. The knowledge you ask for isn't evil. No knowledge is. It is we who bend it to evil ends. Now, you must assure me this will be used to save lives, not endanger them.
Dou a minha palavra. Vou garantir que ele será usado para o bem. O conhecimento não pode ser maligno. E quanto ao conhecimento da pólvora, né? Tanto pode ser usado para o bem quanto para o mal. Todo conhecimento. Todo o conhecimento pode ser usado para o bem ou para o mal. Dependendo dos pontos de vista de quem o usa.
Let's hope it still works. Let it be used for good.
Bom. Pode ir embora agora.
The Great Serpent guide your path. The Great Serpent is so much more than a god. It is fate itself. When our founder, Jinan Varun, left the United Colonies 140 years ago for distant stars, it was the Serpent that compelled him to found his now great house. The Serpent made us who we are today. Its voice speaks to us, shepherding us through the dark and infuses our lives with the meaning the universe so often fails to provide. It was tolerable, even pleasant, when my brethren were here in the embassy with me. We remade this place as best we could into a home we all would recognize. Our native flora, our iconography.
Perceber essa parte de flora conectou muito com o vídeo.
My brethren gone, it has been trying. But the Great Serpent has always provided me a path in my darkest moments.
Por que você ficou para trás?
House Varun committed itself to the armistice. This was said at the time to be the desire of the Great Serpent, and I do not believe the Serpent decides such things on a whim. So, when my brethren left, I remained, honoring the Serpent's will as I saw fit, as is the right of all his followers. The affairs of House Varun are our own. They left. That is all there is to be said on the subject.
Muito obrigado, moço. Ah não, moço, você não vai fazer isso, né? O moço vai fazer isso. Ele vai fazer isso. Não me viu. Tchau. Agora precisamos... Ai, requer a chave. Na verdade, eu quero muito, como fala, ir embora daqui. Como é que a gente vai embora daqui? Por favor. Jogo. Ai. Caramba. Que zona. Eu preciso dar um jeito de descarregar um pouco as coisas. Para variar, eu estou pesado. Para. É que minha nave tá longe, senão eu conseguiria, como fala, mandar as coisinhas que eu peguei. Muito bem, temos os códigos de coisas. Traje de automedicação. Mais 15% de dano menos 15% de danos provenientes de inimigos humanos. Automedicação. Use um kit médico uma vez a cada 60 segundos quando alguém acertar você ou sua vida estiver abaixo de 25%. É uma mochila que dá pra gente vender também, né? Só que, tipo, eu não tenho como vir aqui, inventário ainda e mandar, porque minha nave tá longe. Se minha nave estivesse perto, eu já conseguia fazer. Eu sei. Recupera aí o oxigênio. Ah, não é vidro. Eu não consigo descer. Vamos lá, vamos lá. Eu sei que você consegue. Respira. Oh, raiva. Uma coisa que me irrita nesse jogo é isso. Entendeu? Sobrepeso toda hora. Isso porque eu já aumentei. Eu acho que eu já aumentei já toda a habilidade de peso extra.
Captain, you're back sooner than. Oh, wait. Did you actually succeed? With Radcliffe and Balmore. We're all in agreement.
Sim.
So the old man was still lurking around in there. Fine work, Captain. And now, I've already arranged everything with the archival monitors. When you get down there, the UC monitor will give you instructions on how to deploy the codes. Follow them to the letter. Here, the UC code piece and an archival access card. The entrance is just on the other side of the plaza across from Mast. absolute best behavior down there, all right?
Ok. Bem comportadinho.
By the way, Captain, Sergeant Yumi was looking for you. Sounds like he's got one.
Nossa, minhas coisas que eu larguei aqui ainda estão aqui. Eu tava com sobrepeso. Que doideira. Bem, chegamos.
Captain, we've been expecting you. Please approach the monitoring station and we will go over the rules.
Ok.
Welcome, Captain, to the archives. To proceed, you will need to deposit your codes into the 3 corresponding receptacles. Once they are verified, I will open the door. Your data resides in Unit 18. You will not be able to access any of the other units. Once you've collected your data, return to the entrance. You may insert the first of the archival codes when you're ready to begin.
Foi um. Foi outro. E foi outro. Aê, chegamos. Unidade 18. Agora vamos para lá. Vamos para onde está todo mundo. Use todo o seu oxigênio. Eu preciso também usar isso, entendeu? Por isso que às vezes é bom você ficar pesado, porque aí você já, como fala... Acho que é essa... Não, já dominei essa daqui, entendeu? Eu tenho mais 100 quilos que eu posso carregar. Essa daqui, fitness, entendeu? Gasto todo o seu oxigênio 50 vezes. E aí aumenta o oxigênio das coisas que eu posso utilizar. Eu tenho o negócio da pistola. Eu queria muito, como fala, pegar... Não é sistema das armas... Não é roubar, é design de nave. O problema é que eu não consigo pegar design de nave porque eu preciso de mais um ponto aqui, entendeu? Agora eu poderia pegar. Preciso de mais um ponto e eu consigo pegar. Porque senão quando eu chego no... Eu só vou poder... A nave que a gente tá, que a gente pegou da Freestar... tem uma recompensa. Eu só vou conseguir... Se eu tiver designer de... Como fala? Se eu tiver designer de nave. Eu preciso usar mais um ponto técnico. Mais um ponto em alguma coisa aqui. E aí eu consigo, como fala? Pegar essa habilidade. Aí eu tenho que upar ela até o nível 4. Pra eu conseguir... melhorar a nave... Como fala? Melhorar a minha nave que eu tenho da Free Stars. Porque assim, se eu não conseguir melhorar a nave da Free Stars, por exemplo... Se eu precisar de muita dobra, aí eu vou ter que trocar pra Mantis. Só que a Mantis tem pouca... Como fala? Só que a Mantis tem pouca carga dentro dela. Aí meio que me ferra.
There you are. Captain, Deputy told me what went down. Impressive work.
Captain, if you'd be willing to transfer the documents to the Major, she and I have been discussing what comes next.
Time for us to start getting some real answers. And figure out if we've been asking the right questions. So whenever you're ready.
Ainda bem que eu me livre dessa droga.
So with the data out of the way, we've been discussing where exactly this work's getting done. The Red Devil's headquarters on Mars, back where you found Percival, seemed the natural spot. Already has the equipment, the safety measures. Though it sounded like the deputy had a few more things she needed to discuss with you first.
Indeed. The most important of which is getting you your citizenship.
Then I guess we'll see you on Mars.
Captain, if you'll follow me.
Tá, vamos seguir assim.
I asked my boss what they're doing to stop new alien attacks on the city. He said top minds were on it.
É que eu não tô gostando muito do jeito como as coisas estão indo. Estou estranhando uma coisa. Mas vamos ter a... Vamos falar com ela primeiro.
All right, Captain. Are you ready to become a citizen of the United Colonies?
Sim.
Good. This isn't the only item we need to discuss, so I'll give you the short version. Please raise your hand. Captain, through your actions today and in days past, you have earned your place among the United Colonies. Through service, bravery, strength, and upholding of the mutual good. Will you carry and cultivate these values for as long as you remain a citizen? Then, Captain, I'm pleased to welcome you into the United Colonies as a full citizen. Here, your official ID and your citizenship dispensation. We've also let the affiliate realty office out in the plaza know you're approved to purchase property.
Ó, podemos comprar.
The other item we needed to discuss.
Podemos comprar casa aqui agora.
Who's asked to speak to you, but this person is in a sensitive position. Normally, we wouldn't even consider something like this, but we think this person has information that could prove useful in dealing with the Terrormorphs. And they stated they'll only share it with you. They asked for you by name. So I need your agreement that everything you're about to see is kept in the strictest confidence. You can tell no one. Can you agree to these terms?
Sim. Mas de quem que você tá falando?
Sorry. I can't share any more without your word. Do I have it?
Tá bom.
Let's hope it never comes to that. Head to the elevator. You're going to subsection 7. I'll make sure you're cleared for access by the time you get there.
Ok, né? Com amigos assim, quem precisa de inimigo? Um ataque muito conivente Com certeza, o tempo desse ataque foi ótimo. A gente conseguiu convencer todo mundo. Casa Verron, Priester, União das Colônias. Tivemos acesso aos códigos aos códigos e assim aos dados das pesquisas. E de quebra ganhamos nossa cidadania, então a gente pode ter nossa própria casinha na União das Colônias. Legal. Mas aí precisamos agora dar um jeito de ver se esse estudo ajuda ou não na nossa missão de se livrar ou entender um pouquinho mais sobre esses terrormorfos e impedir novos ataques. Mas isso vai ficar no próximo episódio, eu espero vocês lá. Então se gostaram, deixa aquele joinha que é só clicar, coloca um comentário falando o que você achou, compartilha com os amigos que é muito importante, e não foi inscrito no canal, já aproveita, se inscreve e ativa o sininho para receber a notificação dos próximos vídeos. Muito obrigado e até o próximo.